Ramble.
Teach me, brother. Welcome to Guilty Pleasures. Let's fucking go! Today we are talking about the Tollywood smash hit RRR.
Tollywood.
Guys, you don't know, but you about to get learnt. This movie has been taking film Twitter by storm, and it's taken our hearts by storm. I don't know that the three of us have felt this way about a movie in a long time.
At all.
I just want to check,
Especially
just check
not
it emotionally.
No. I finished it a couple hours ago, and I feel like my life should be judged pre-seeing RRR and post-seeing RRR. So there's a timeline gap there. I'm a different person, a different man.
I finished it about 20 minutes ago, and I feel like I ripped the biggest line of cocaine I've ever ripped in my life. Like, my nose is bleeding, and I'm eating the blood because I don't want any coke to go out.
Cocaine wishes it could give you this type of high.
Fucking Rambo. Marvel could never. Fucking, what did you say? Fast and Furious could never.
Look, that's coming from us.
Guys.
This is, yes, dear listeners,
we're serious.
We are serious. This movie, India has delivered a film that pummels the Fast and Furious and the MCU and the Bond franchise and any action movie you can think of into the ground. But it's not just an action movie. It is so much more. It is about brotherhood. It is about friendship. It's about rebellion. And it's about some sick, sweet dance moves. If the movie is the giant line of cocaine, allow this hour of the podcast to be rubbing it into your gums when you're done. Let's dive in. Before we start with the premise and let you know, I do not believe this movie is spoilable. It's a real treat, but of course we're going to be having some spoilers. It is available now on Netflix.
No, I think that explaining it is going to make people want to watch it more. Because you can't fathom what we're actually talking about until you fucking see it. There's no way.
And you won't believe
us. I was the third one to start watching it. And these two were like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. This is so fucking crazy. And they're explaining scenes. And then I just simply responded, I don't believe you. And then I started watching the movie. And I believe him. Oh my God, do I believe him?
Not only did you not believe us, Garrick was like, you're fucking with me. Stop fucking with me. It's rude. Like, you were mad.
I was upset because I thought you guys were trying to like set me up to be.
No. Because it's true. Based on just like the look of this, like if all you're doing is scrolling by Netflix or like on Twitter, you wouldn't believe us. You wouldn't believe that everyone. And if you watch the trailer, you would say, guys, guilty pleasures. Come on. You normally take care of us guilty whores. You usually set us up for such success. Why would you do this to us? Trust me.
It's great.
Yeah, you watch the trailer and you go like, oh, this is one of those so bad it's good. Or like, oh, it's like a cheesy action movie.
I thought it was that. No, it is sincere and it is sincerely good.
And if this is India's house making movies all the time,
I'm going through the whole catalog of my boy. He's like the James Cameron of India, so I'm going through all of his shit.
Okay,
but
same.
I honestly do feel like when watching the trailer, I felt arrogant. I was like, look at these fucks trying to copy American cinema. The only people that even come close is South Korea. Are you out of your mind? You guys can't fuck with us. UK, you could never. But yeah, no, they got us. They got us. They got us with this.
Not only did they get us, but I firmly believe that America, the government has been blocking us from seeing these films because they don't want us to convert so deeply and trash our cinema and our film
I'm ready
industry.
to immigrate.
You think LA is like...
I'm moving.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
This is the single best piece of...
let's relax. I wouldn't immigrate. But at the same time, I do want to watch more of their stuff for sure.
Yeah. They just didn't want us to know. They didn't want us to know.
I first got I first became aware of this movie through Twitter. Film Twitter has been ablaze for the past 2-3 months. I believe there was an Atlantic article that said, meet the Indian film that Hollywood should be jealous of. And I had seen all of these comparisons to how like it does what the MCU wishes it could do, but better. I mean, we're going to make those claims too. It's more bombastic than Fast and Furious, more explosive than James Cameron, more everything. And again, there is a dance number. I need to give a synopsis.
Multiple.
Can we just put a mental note on that dance number and why it is actually fantastic? Anyway, let's just put that.
Okay. I expect we'll talk about it for a full 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's Act 2 of this episode.
I need to give a synopsis. I'm going to do it a disservice because there is so much movie in this movie. And I also need you to know that this is the longest movie we have ever done on Guilty Pleasures. It is nearly 3 hours long.
No, it's not as long
enough.
It is not long. It's for sure not long enough.
5 minutes.
But I don't think it's as long as the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut was like 3.5.
That's a great point. You're right.
Exactly. But to Zach's point, it wasn't long enough.
You could have been 30 minutes. They could have put in like 2 more dance numbers, and that would have dwarfed the Snyder Cut.
So this movie takes place in pre-revolutionary India. You have the British colonial rule, and it follows 2 young men. You have Bheem and Ram, and their unlikely friendship. And they do not realize when they become friends that they are also sworn basically to become enemies. They are on a path where they must fight each other, but that path also leads to the freedom of India from British colonial rule. That's
It's
if Mr. and Mrs. Smith freed America.
It's Romeo and Juliet. Freeing India. I'm sorry.
But they're boys.
Do they free? But they're boys. But do they free India as a whole, or just that small segment that's governed by?
It's the beginning of their
general. That was New Delhi.
It's the beginning of it.
Yeah. And we'll get into that at the end as well, because there's some exciting stuff for you to learn about there. But to get a little more into it, you have to get a little more into it. So when we meet Bheem. Where do we even start?
No, we meet Raj.
Zach, you high?
We met Raj first. No, we met Bheem first. Okay, so at the beginning, so when we start, just I want to
tell the 2 plots, just to let people know.
Yeah.
So we start off with this weird prologue of a little girl singing, and you're just like, wow, this is beautiful. She's singing in the rainforest to this white couple, and you're like, oh, okay.
Botox to hell. That lady's got frozen filler.
And that's when I was like, I don't know what era we're in, because that Botox is fucking crazy. But apparently we're in 1920s.
Exactly. It made me think, deadass, I had the same thought, Rick. I was like, is this happening today? Right. Because that woman has so much in her face.
And that's, I mean, it's.
And that's coming from me. She's a
nice lady, I'm sure. Botox was crazy.
She's a nice lady.
You can be nice with Botox.
You can be nice with Botox.
Yeah. Look at me. Yeah. I'm the nicest bitch you ever met.
So we start off in rainforest. We're like, it's set up kind of like a Tarzan story. And you're like, okay, I guess this is Tarzan.
White people
coming in and just fucking shit up. And then the little girl she paints something on the white lady's hand, and then she starts singing, and then the white lady's like, yeah, I want that one. And she just buys.
I want this little girl.
And she just buys this little girl. And of course, against her will, the tribe that's around her is just like, whoa, I mean, we didn't think that these 2 pieces of coin meant you were purchasing our daughter. Give us our daughter back. And they eventually, they take her, and it's just like, it's a whole thing. It's a really sad situation. The mom is crying. The village is crying.
She gets beat by with a fucking tree trunk.
She gets smacked in the back of the head with a tree trunk.
That was in the first 3 minutes. I said, oh shit, we're doing this to women in the first 3 minutes? Oh,
a log explodes over her head.
Explodes over the back of her head.
Cerebellum.
And that's when I was like, okay, now we're in it. Now we're going for it. This is my favorite movie of all time. Not because of the violence against women, but because...
No, that's what you meant. I got it.
Not because of the violence against women, but because of the practicality of hitting somebody over the back of the head with a log. And you're just shook.
I wrote in my notes so many jaw-dropping moments, and then I look at my next note, And it's clear to me that that was even before the log. So that means that in the first 3 minutes, which means I was just jaw-dropping at the shots and the composition, and that's before shit even gets going.
Yeah.
So now we fast forward a scene. We'll come back to the introduction of our other guy, but you hear... They find out what village this little girl was stolen from, and they say, you see this look of fear, and he goes, they are an innocent people, but they like to be together, and they have a shepherd to collect. And if they find it in the jaws of a tiger's mouth, he will rip open its jaws and break its teeth. And you go, oh.
He fully Liam Neeson, this guy. He was like, if I will, this little village has a guy that will find you and fucking kill you if you take one of their babies. And whoever took them better watch the fuck out. So you're just set up being like, oh shit, we're about to see something go down.
And then you jump to our Liam Neeson character of just a guy running away from. Okay, so he's. This is fucking crazy. He's running away.
How do you set this up?
I don't know how to set it up.
He sets himself up. He sets himself up in blood as bait.
Douses himself in blood to make him more attractive to the predators of the jungle. He's running around. A wolf comes out. And you're like, okay, so now he's running away from the wolf.
He's running from the wolf.
He's just like, okay, that's crazy that he's running away from the wolf. No. And then you see the glaring eyes of a Bengal tiger in the bush.
Yep.
And then the Bengal tiger starts chasing him from the other side. And the way that he stops himself from being attacked by both things is he jumps into the air dodges the wolf, and lets the tiger hit him head on. Hit the wolf head on. I was losing my fucking mind. I was like,
the geometry that's the other thing is like the mathematics and the gravitational knowledge that has to go into making a wolf hit a Bengal tiger so perfectly in the air that it kind of knocks the Bengal off its track so that he has more time to run and set it up for a trap. He was baiting himself to get bait for the Bengal.
He was baiting himself for the wolf. The Bengal came out of nowhere, and they were just like, okay, so we have a tiger as well. And you're like, why does that matter? And then you find out they're trying to trap both of them. For what? But for what?
Whoa, we'll find out.
You'll find out.
And you find out.
It's normal episodes of this show, we're gonna like go through and do jokes. This episode, we're just gonna tell you scene by scene and tell you how
scream
in your ear.
Full praise.
He catches the tiger in a net and is like holding these ropes together, Spider-Manning it, like holding the train on the tracks like the fucking Zeus he is. And that is your introduction to Bheem. And you go, how can anyone ever be that badass? And now we meet our other motherfucker. Let's go.
Oh my God. So you get to
That's fucking... That's the, as Zach said in the text thread, that's the amuse bouche. That's the appetizer.
It's not even an appetizer.
Oh, you thought that was cute?
It's not even the appetizer. It's the little free sample they put on your plate to go, oh, by the way, our chef ain't fucking around.
You jump from that scene. You jump to a scene that kind of, it's reminiscent of World War Z, where you see all the zombies on the outside of that's how many people were crowded around and protesting around this police station. And then there is a man that throws a rock at a British general painting or something like that, cracks a glass, and then somebody says, arrest that man. And then all the police officers are like, how are we going to arrest this guy?
Oh, it's a riot out there. How are we supposed to go?
You just see this one mustachioed motherfucker. And you're like, why is his mustache so exquisite? This must be a main character.
Gorgeous.
Listen. When I tell you that mustache is the finest piece of facial hair that I have ever laid eyes on in my life, the follicular excellence.
Garrick said it's like Indian hair is it's no joke. It's the most expensive for a fucking reason. And we got to see the source. We got to see God.
I know we need to talk about this action scene, but this man is so hot. Raju is
a stunning man.
Fucking dripping in sex.
His his side portrait could fuck me dry. It is so. You're like, excuse me, and then you get the full frontal, and you're like, I gasped.
This is the hottest pirate I've ever seen, and Jason Momoa wishes he looks like this man. And
God damn.
We don't have anyone.
I don't think we have
no one. No. That touches him.
I don't think we have anybody.
Nobody.
It's pretty unfortunate. I felt like less of a man.
It makes like Chris Hemsworth look like shit on the bottom of my shoe.
Oh my God.
Chris Evans might as well be me. That's how hot this guy is.
Yeah.
He has a scene where he's doing the punching bag thing in Captain America, where Chris Evans punches the bag off. No, this guy literally punches a hole through it.
through the bag. And not even like a huge hole where his hand goes through. His punches are so accurate that it's almost like a bullet hole on the other side of the bag.
I just imagined that bag as my pussy. I was like, fist me, go straight up out my mouth and use my head as a sock puppet. This man could do whatever he fucking wanted to. I wrote, he's so strong.
The way that they film him, it's like if the bad Terminator in T2, I forget his name, was Ryan Gosling. He's so hot, but he's so just a fucking killing machine. Yeah.
And they make him very villainous.
Yeah, he is very villainous in the way that he walks to the crowd and then just jumps over into the midst of the crowd.
Jumps over a 12-foot fence like it's nothing. Just gets into his Michael Jordan pose and just
just so that you guys can visualize what we're talking about. This is the most exquisite blend of Fast and Furious and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon that I've ever seen. So anytime somebody jumps at some point, they're floating into the air. They're doing a full,
it's beautiful
ribbon dance.
All wire work. They're on wires. Even when they're walking, they might as well just be little puppets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you can't
they're
really
floating.
The CGI and the stunt work, I believed 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I really was like, they are doing the most insane, this guy jumping over a 12-foot fence or walking on top of a crowd of rioters. I was like, I believe it.
So just as soon as you said stunt work, it really did. First of all, seeing all of those people around the gate, those are all extras or they're all real people. Yeah. It's not CGI, right? And then there's a scene where he jumps in the midst of the crowd and starts beating the shit out of an entire mob of people trying to arrest this one guy. And there's this one moment where he's where they dogpile him. And then there's a shot inside of the dog pile.
The dog pile!
This shot fucking rules.
Mind. That was such a good shot.
Okay.
Because you know what it does? It does what realistically would happen during fight scenes, and then fucking injects it with Red Bull and methamphetamine. It's you get they give you a little bit of what you want. You're like, there's no way he wouldn't be taken down into a dog pile of people that many.
And he gets taken down into a dog pile.
And you're how is he gonna get out of that? And then he fucking gets out of it.
He finds a fucking stick and he starts hitting people's knees. And of course,
but you have all these bodies cowering over him, and the camera's underneath this with him, and you just get to see him go grab one hand, grab another, It's such a beautiful shot and such a fun, inventive action moment. And again, we've just begun.
This is the first.
This is only his
minutes.
intro sequence. Yeah, this is a 10-minute introduction sequence for him. It's not even has anything to do with the story. All it is that he's setting up to be the most powerful soldier in the British Army, and he's an Indian man, so that people in the crowd are like, "You're a traitor. You're a traitor. How could you possibly be fighting for the white man?" And you're like, "Yeah, why are you fighting for the white man?" But they could have done that. Any American film would have just been like, he's the strongest. Look at the way he can, workout montage or look at the way he intends. They gave us an entire short film just to introduce how strong he is.
The fucking balls that this movie has, because it takes maybe 20 minutes to even sort of understand what this plot is going to be, but it actually really takes maybe 30 or 40.
Personally, I got it within the first 10 minutes. And I don't know.
Really?
I don't know what it was, but I was like just so zoned in after that lady got hit in the back of the head with a fucking branch. Where I was just like, okay, so this person is probably gonna find out that this person is working against them. But that the friendship part is what threw me. That's what actually
the first
got me.
whole act one is like, their stories are running parallel to each other, and you're like, they have to intersect. You know it's coming, but you have no idea how or why. And that is just the first act of the first act, is like revving your engines, rubbing your hands together, saying like, I know that they're so back and forth and jumping scenes that you're like, how are they possibly going to intersect? And it happens in like the most juiciest, satisfying
And then
way.
when they meet, shall we? We have a train explode, fireball erupt. There's a little boy who's out in the water. He needs help. And you have Raju. He's on the bridge and he sees Bheem. Meanwhile, Raju's been chasing down Bheem's best friend just seconds before this. So he's trying to find him, but they look at each other and there's just this look. I mean, they're hundreds of feet apart, but there's...
Wait, hold on, pause. Because you have to say before you explain this, when you find out that their paths are gonna intersect, and the way you find out is that that Bheem is the protector that's gonna go get back the little girl, and you find out that Raj is going to be the soldier who is tasked now. The British Army is like, we know there's a guy who's going to be coming for this little girl. We don't know what he looks like. We have no information on him. All we know is he's supposed to be the most deadliest soldier who will stop at nothing to get this little girl back. And who thinks that he can take him on? It's our boy.
Also, on top of that, there is a reward. There's a reward. We saw that Raj was not promoted to special soldier after he special officer, which is bullshit, after he beat the shit out of 100 men.
700 people.
He didn't get special officer. We know that's set up. The prize of it was that he'll become a special officer if anybody can find this man. Oh, and bring him in alive.
So you know that they're basically the hunter and the hunted, and you know that they're going to meet, but they don't know what each other looks like. Bheem doesn't know that Raj is going to be out on the lookout for him as a soldier for the British Army. Raj has no idea what the special guy from the tribe looks like, so they don't know who each other is. Okay, go ahead, Zach.
There is actually one big bugaboo that I have, and I am sorry to say it at this point in the episode, but in order to go undercover, our boy Raju grows out his full facial hair, depriving us of the wonderful mustache for about an hour of this film. Yeah. It's a damn shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
Yeah. He has to go undercover as a regular person so no one knows that he's a soldier walking around in soldier uniform as he hunts for the shepherd.
No regular guy could have a mustache that exquisite.
Yeah.
For officers, you can't have your facial hair out, I believe. Or that might just be for the military. For the military, the only facial hair you can have is none, or a mustache that is shorter than your mouth. The
or
ends
the
of your
most incredible mustache of all time.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So our boys are about to meet, and Raju has actually been chasing down one of Bheem's boys. He's like maybe about to catch him. He doesn't. But he's on a bridge, and there's this train. It explodes. There's a fireball. It falls into the water. There's this little boy trapped in the water. What are they gonna do? How are they gonna save the little boy? Raju's on the bridge. Bheem is on the shore, and they're both like, "We gotta do something." And they see each other from hundreds of feet away, and there's just this look in each other's eyes. I mean, they're little specks, and they just start waving like, "Yo, you know what the fuck's about to go down?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know what the fuck's about to go down." And they just start making hand signals. And dear listeners, what follows? What fucking follows?
How are you going to explain that?
It is very hard to explain. All of this is so hard to explain. Yeah.
Like, I honestly feel selfish that I get to be the one to explain this. But he kicks on. Okay. Oh God. Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bheem grabs a motorcycle, starts peeling away. Raju gets on a fucking horse, starts galloping, picks up a rope. They go past each other. Raju picks up a fucking flag. Like, I don't know, is it a revolutionary flag? I'm not sure.
Revolutionary flag or the Indian flag?
Hell yeah. They grab each other's ropes. They go past each other. They drive to the edge of the bridge. I don't know what happened to the horse. Maybe the horse dies. They jump off.
I think, he just kept going.
Okay,
he kept trotting away.
They jump off the bridge opposite ways. They fall. Raju's got the flag. Bheem's just going out. They go opposite. Then the ropes catch. They start swinging. Okay, Bheem grabs the boy as Raju swings by him. So Beam's in the fire. He throws the boy. Raju throws the flag.
Just let him run.
Then they go back past each other. Raju wraps himself in the flag, protects himself from the flame, comes back. They throw the boy on the ground, then they come back, and boom, they grab hands. And they're like, you are my fucking life soulmate.
But that's how they introduce each other. But that's how they introduce themselves to each other. I'm sorry. They do this.
It's like two halves of a best friend
That fucking
necklace.
predator handshake wishes it was this much of a, like, Dylan, you son of a bitch. Nah, man. I just jumped off of a bridge, attached myself to a rope, and fucking then introduce myself to my new best friend. And they said, Raj.
And then
it's so absurd.
They fall off the rope. Yeah. What makes it even more absurd is that they let go of the rope to go underwater. And then they decide to handshake underwater.
They walk to each other on the ocean floor, slowly towards each other. As
like Aquaman.
The music is ramping up.
They're dense, strong boys.
And they fucking high five again underwater. Look, this movie is so unbelievably heightened. And like these guys, they've just met, they wave each other some hand signals, and they have this like telepathic connection. And you buy in and never
but you know
back.
What? I'm gonna put my best friend Lacey out on blast for a second because she doesn't listen to this podcast, so I know that I can. When we met, we were in the same acting class in New York City. And
How
the
are you
very
about
first
to compare
day,
yourself
she
to
looked
this
at me,
movie?
I looked at her, and I was like, that bitch is really good. And then I went up and did my scene or whatever, and she was like, oh, that bitch is really good. And naturally, as women, we felt like we had to hate each other. We couldn't possibly be the best of friends. That night, our classmate was like, I'm throwing like a little drinks get together, like let's everyone come by. And we were like, all right. So I see like Lacey's there, and we're not really talking or hanging out. And then we both end up in the kitchen at the same time going for a drink. And we don't even say anything. We just look at each other. And then we start making out.
What?
This is not where I thought this story was going.
It's true. And like, I know. And it's like we just spoke to each other. It was like, you're bisexual, I'm bisexual. We just knew. And we had like not talked, and we had actually kind of been throwing shade at each other. And then we like made out for however long it was. And then we both stopped and we were like, no, we're meant to be best friends, not lovers. Best friends. And she's my best friend to this day. When you know, all it takes is a look. Sometimes your enemy is meant to be your greatest friend, and that's what this
And that's
movie
why,
is about.
dear listeners, make out with everyone you meet, and it may help you find out if you're supposed to be friends or not. That's what you should take away from this.
They're your soulmate. These men are soulmates. The women in their lives don't
Similarly,
matter.
when Garrick and I met, we connected ropes to our bodies and jumped off a bridge and saved a little boy. And then high five. So it's the same.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't the Spartan handshake, but it was a nice little hand.
Kind of like a
we did it. Like Mario and Luigi, just clapping.
This badass set piece, which again puts frankly any movie you've ever seen to shame. This is 40 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
That's when they do the title of the movie. You've been watching it for 40 minutes. You've already watched better action scenes than anything you could ever imagine. They high five, it freezes, and it goes, the movie is named RRR. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, during the introductions of both of the characters of their little like short films beforehand, they did intro it with an R. And it's just like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. There's an R here.
But what was the third R
Revolt?
For? It was water, fire,
and revolt.
Revolt?
Or something like
is that the third R? Because fire is supposed to be Raju, water is Bheem, and then revolt is them together, which is why it's named Triple R, which maybe that is my one guilt is the name of the movie could have been better.
I mean, I throw that up to cultural differences. Everything that I don't fully understand, I'm like, that's just a cultural difference. Who cares?
Yeah,
it translates to
only naive white lady.
It roughly translates to Rage, War, Blood, and then they call it Rise, Roar, Revolt.
Rise, Roar, Revolt.
But it's a pretty fucking dope ass name.
Yeah.
Ooh, I need just like when I was watching the movie, I right now need like a break, a breather. I did not take notes while watching this. I couldn't. And I had to pause. This is the first time I've ever watched a movie where I was like, oh, I shouldn't have taken that edible. Not because I can't pay attention, but because my heart is racing. And I had to just pause and like take a lap.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was too much. I don't know what's going on with my body as it recovers from COVID, but I feel like my head is slowly starting to reboot, and through that I feel dehydrated all of the time. And after that scene,
so what you're saying is this movie cures COVID?
It does.
You hear that, Fauci?
Just watch RRR.
And then what like happens after the title sequence is like the most beautiful friendship montage of all time. Because they become instantly best friends. They go dancing together. They go riding on the motorcycle together, just barebacking on the back of the bike.
It's adorable.
Together. They go running along a train.
One thing I love about this montage, I mean, it's so adorable. You're basically just seeing these two grown-ass men like just loving each other. And it's like, okay, we love covering homoerotic action movies, right? But this one feels a little different because these men love each other and they're not afraid to show it. Another thing I love about this montage is that we haven't talked about the chorus in this movie. There is, it's pseudo musical and there are musical scenes we'll talk about, but then there's also just an unseen chorus singing about what's happening on screen. And they're literally talking about like the love of these two men. This is true all time. They're brothers forever. Will their friendship end in bloodshed? And it's just like telling you what's gonna happen, what might come. It's like Greek chorus. It's really cool.
It's so cute. It's so adorable. It does feel like Greek chorus because when I was watching, I like hearing the music in the background reminded me of Hercules, the animated one. Where the is it the Muses? I'm not sure. I don't remember what they're called, but they were like they would always come in and sing what was happening for like a little second.
I know that you want to talk about this, so let's fast forward. There's a love story with a British woman. Maybe we'll circle back to talk about it.
We don't have to talk about it.
But Garrick loves musicals.
I love them now. No, not at all. But I always harp on the fact that whenever you're making a movie or whatever, or making a musical, they always sing a song to show off the fact that they learned that song, showing off the fact that, look at how good our artists are or our actors are at this. And it never moves the plot along. The way that this dance number moves the fucking plot along and is a part of the fucking movie. It is insane. I had no idea that it was going to be implemented this well because I knew there's going to be a dance number.
I think we're being rude to call it a dance number.
I think
this
so too.
Shit took my breath away. It's
athletic.
It is athletic.
It is an explosion of bodies.
Yeah. I was reading a review of this movie before getting into it, and they said that the highlights of this specific director's career is how well he can do frenzy. And that word really explains the entire
frenzy
ethos of this movie.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful way.
Yes.
But because it is that whole scene, it feels like a frenzy. I'm like sweating just thinking about it because it seemed so hard to do.
And it's so hopeful because what you know as an audience member at this point in the movie is that even though they've become quick best friends, they still haven't shared their deepest secrets with each other, which is that Bheem is the shepherd coming to find the child.
Name. Well, Bheem is his real name, but the name that he
goes by Raju, right?
For.
He uses, and that Raju is an officer undercover looking for the shepherd, and this musical is taking place at the girl's house that Bheem is falling in love with, which is the white English lady who at the house, our little girl is being kept hostage. And so you see, this is like really the last moment. You can feel it in your bones as you're watching it, where you just know this is the pinnacle of friendship serotonin of these two buddies, because it can only go downhill from here.
You know that it's going to come to a head.
When we say that they are dancing, I just need you to know that they are dancing.
It is not.
These motherfuckers. It is
not a normal dance like you said. They are
dancing hard.
There's this aggressive foot shake thing that they're doing for I want to say stomping. 2 hours. And they're just fucking and they're just going back and forth, and it's just it turns into a dance battle where it's just let's see who can do this for the longest. Between
it's kind of like what Crumping in Bring It On 3 thought it was, because they're dance fighting and they're it's like who can outlast the other. And I think this really speaks to how fucking amazing these actors are, because these are action hunks. These are beefcakes of men. And they are also then, they're expected to do the drama and the comedy and the fight scenes and also outdance Grace Kelly. Oh my God.
And sing. I'm pretty sure they're singing their own, whenever they do sing on screen, I'm sure they're singing it in a studio and then overlaying that over themselves. Or they could at least lip sync, if that makes sense.
Imagine if in the middle of a Mission Impossible or a Fast and Furious or a Marvel movie that Tom Cruise or Vin Diesel or The Rock or Robert Downey Jr. had to fucking stomp and dance with their suspenders and pull it off and take your breath away. No one in America can pull that off.
Nobody can. Vin Diesel is getting close. Vin Diesel, I don't think that he has the work ethic to really do it. I feel like I was almost smited for even saying anything about him.
How dare you?
I know. But he can act and sing if that's anything.
Actually, I thought about this. I have a fear that Vin Diesel sees this movie and goes to Universal the people want me to sing in the next Fast and Furious.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know what? Hugh Jackman.
I hope he does.
I mean, maybe in his prime, he could have done it.
There you go.
Maybe in his prime. Oh my God.
I can't believe how much movie is in this movie.
There's so much movie because we haven't even.
Yeah, no, this is only the midpoint of.
We're not even.
We're not at the midpoint.
Kelsey.
We're not at the midpoint.
No, I know. No, I'm saying it's the midpoint of the first half.
We're gonna jump from there.
Okay, do we just need to just hit
jump from there to the first time that Bheem makes an attempt to rescue his niece?
Well, so homeboy Raju finds out that Bheem.
Don't even worry about it, Kelsey. They're gonna have to see the movie.
Yeah,
we'll just give them the fucking highlights.
Just know there's so much in between.
Raju finds out he's the shepherd. He finds out he's the shepherd, but Bheem doesn't know that he's an undercover cop. So he goes to try and break into the British Capitol mansion to save.
This scene. Okay, wait a second. This scene is when I told you guys that Fast and Furious could never. So they commandeer a giant truck. There is Bheem.
The Trojan horse.
It's a Trojan horse, yes. And Bheem and his boys are like, we're doing this tonight. So they commandeer a truck. There is a guy on the top of the truck. I have chills. And like there's like a Zach had to step away. Just go. There's a sheet or a cover on top of the truck. You're like, oh man, what's under that truck? Who cares? So they drive through the front gates of where the daughter is being into this gala party, and there's hella soldiers around that they're supposed to be. Everybody's looking around.
Zach is dancing, he's twerking.
Everybody's looking around.
This was the
Everybody's
best
looking
for
around
me.
and they're just like, oh my God, this truck
is
just drove
the single
through.
greatest shot reveal in cinema history.
Period. So the guy drifts the truck. He drifts the truck. The guy on the top rolls and then takes the drape off to reveal Bheem and all of the animals that they capture. So the Bengal tiger, the wolf, a deer, and then they all a bear, and then they all jump out of the side of the cages. And it's
cheetah?
Just,
a jaguar?
Beautiful. Every animal, like all of Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark just comes out of the back of this truck, and you just see this still frame of Bheem in the midst of the chaos and everything in midair with two torches, and he's like, I'm ready to beat the fuck out of anybody that is in my way. And it is so
okay. Yep. Can we pause there? Because that shot. That shot is breathtaking. It is stunning. It's this beautiful.
That was like a Renaissance painting. That could have been on the top of a Sistine Chapel or something. And
you have all of these animals and Bheem, and it connects to the beginning. It's this ultimate fuck yeah moment in cinema, and it reminds me of the moment in the first Avengers where you finally see them all together, or maybe it's the beginning of the second one, and everyone cheers.
The beginning of the second one,
Marvel needed like 7 movies to pull off the glee that you feel in that moment. This does it in an hour, in less than an hour. It tells you something in the beginning, and then you forget about it, and it pays it off, and the fucking... I want to rip my clothes off. My heart is about to explode out of my chest, and then you get to see animals fuck up some British soldiers. Let's fucking go.
Oh, straight into the neck.
And then you see there's a scene where Bheem, where a Bengal tiger jumps on him, and then he takes the Bengal tiger and throws it at somebody else like it's a fucking cannon.
It around his head like it's a fucking pizza dough.
He uses the tiger like a gun. He shoots a tiger.
He just launches it.
And then this is the backdrop in which Raju comes in. And now you're going to have these two motherfuckers fight each other for the first time. Garrick texted us, my man's just punched a tiger with a lamp. Like, yeah.
There's been this there's a running motif that
there's no way you're not standing while this happens.
I was running around my house. There's a running motif around the two of them where Raj is fire and Bheem is water, and so every time there's this running gag.
I think I'm religious now. I literally just did the church thing where I'm like, oh yeah.
This movie made you believe in God.
Every time they're in these epic things, there's either fire behind Raj or water behind Bheem. And then you finally see them fight each other. And when they finally get ready to go at it, there is this water stirring behind them. And then I don't remember, it was like a fountain
that's exploded and
fountain
broken.
behind
the hoses
Bheem.
are whipping around, spraying
spraying water, and then behind Raj, some fireworks went off, and there's an explosion behind him, and then he's like, it's game time, and then they just run at each other and start
everything's
boxing.
on fire. It's oh my god,
so sick.
Sweating.
And that's when Bheem finds out his bestie is hunting him. He's like, no, you can't be. And it's the first time that they have to make a decision. Are they choosing their friendships or their mission? And they both choose their mission. You know, Bheem has to go after the little girl and Raju has to be a soldier. And you're like, oh my God. And that is the midpoint.
The halfway point of the movie. That's the midpoint of the movie. Should we do a part 1 and part 2?
Maybe.
I feel like this movie is like a part 1 and part 2.
God.
Isn't a movie. This is a season. This is so much drama. I'm a wreck right now, you guys.
But what this movie does that so many long movies can't do is it holds your fucking attention. In the slow moments, in the more character-driven plots, even if you wanted to go check your phone, I paused the movie to check my phone. I spent an hour on hold with the Apple support this morning at 8 a.m. because I refused to watch this on anything but my 75-inch screen in the living room with the speakers because this movie deserves. Don't watch it on your phone. Don't watch it on your fucking shitty laptop or your iPad. Go buy a TV with the largest screen possible. This deserves to be watched in the biggest way it can
I want
be.
you fucking shaken.
My friend who I went to go see one of the Transformers with, and that was like that. This was like the first Transformers. This is when CGI was like, it was like, oh shit, CGI is actually good. These look like real robots or whatever. So we're young and we're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Blah 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 blah. They text me when I said, have you seen RRR yet? And they're like, that was the greatest cinema experience or theater experience I have ever had in my life. So for the love of God, please go see it in front of the biggest screen that you can.
I was texting with our boy Ian Hecox right before this. I found out on Twitter that he's a big fan of this franchise, or this movie, rather. And it's gotten him into Indian cinema. He's seen it 3 times. He went to go see it in the theater, and they lost the second reel. So at the midway point, they just were like, we can't find the rest of the movie. So then he had to go home.
What?
He had to go home and finish it.
Oh my God.
That is the biggest blue balls of all time.
But this will convert you, man. I mean, I really knew nothing about Indian cinema. I didn't even know before this that there were different pockets of Indian cinema. So this is actually not a Bollywood film. This is a Tollywood film. It's from a different region, different film industry. And wow, we have so much. So much to catch up on, you guys. I wonder if we should just do some quick hits of the rest of some favorite moments, favorite scenes, favorite shots, rest of the movie. I mean, there's so much that made my jaw drop. There is the reveal of Raj's backstory, which they just they go into a 20-minute flashback scene, and there's this great moment where like they say, "Take my gun, my boy," and then the music just goes la 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 la, and you're just like, yeah.
Oh, you mean the part where you find out as a child he had to shoot his own father that was wearing explosive devices in order to kill enough of the British soldiers? You mean that moment of trauma?
Even adding that moment, I was like, okay, so this is obviously setting up that this is a spy that has an ulterior motive and he's trying to go, rank up through any means necessary.
Nope.
Right? And it's setting all of that up. And then you're like, man, that's fucked up. You're still hurting your own people for your own selfish gain. But then you see that he murdered he had to kill his own father in order for the greater good. And you're like, no, he doesn't care about anybody else. It's just like, he had to do that as a child. No, he would have for sure. Yeah. It doesn't validate what he's doing, but it does show that he is actually willing to, and he's had a foundation built on it, that he was willing to do whatever it took to get
there
whatever
are shots
goal.
and action scenes that shocked me and made my jaw drop, but that was a plot moment that made my jaw drop. That was one where I didn't see it coming, and I just was like, I mean, that's the movie experience of this movie is.
Yeah. But that's him. That's after losing his entire family. His brother gets shot, his mom gets shot, and then his dad is like, I gotta survive, but in order for everybody else to live, I have to die. So you have to kill me. So he just orphaned himself for the greater good. So yeah, he'll whip somebody. It doesn't matter.
There's a very small, incredible moment where the bad guy's car gets smashed by a tree and the car goes flying up into the air. The bad guy goes flying up into the air. And there's so much slow motion in this movie.
There's a lot of slow motion.
As he's flying, grabs a gun
and
aims it and it's so fucking dope.
It's so good.
I feel like it's almost better that we didn't get through to like the very, very end.
Oh, you mean the piggyback fight? It's
piggyback fight. Look, we should definitely mention it, that
Kelsey.
there's a lot of piggybacking in this movie. If you thought acrobatics were at the circus or crazy, boy, do I have a movie for you. God. It will blow your mind.
If you want to see a full-grown man ride... If you want to see a full-grown man ride another full-grown man with two guns as they fuck up an entire army.
My guy broke his legs and he was like, you got to jump on my shoulders, buddy. Let's get you out of here.
We got a text from Garrick where there's a point where someone is locked up and he goes, how's he going to get the key? Oh, I remembered what movie I'm watching.
Yeah, because in that moment, he doesn't need a key. All he needs is brute strength, and he pulls the bars off of his solitary confinement.
What they do a really good job of in the second half is now you're just fucking excited to see how are they going to frenzy out. And you're they're not going to pull the same tricks twice. The fighting scenes never have the same fight style. There's always... That's what I normally hate about fighting movies and action movies is you could close your fucking eyes for the fight scenes. Let's be honest. They look cool and yeah, maybe the stunt work's cool, but there's no story in fight scenes. Every single fight scene has so much plot and context and emotion and character arc that you're like, I have to watch the whole fight scene. And for that, it's my favorite action
That's fair.
movie.
We should watch The Raid, but that's
I love The Raid. The Raid rules. Well, quick shout out to Sitha. She doesn't have a big part in the movie, but she bad as hell. Quick shout out to Raju being the suavest fucking wingman that ever lived. I mean, we skipped the entire loving a white lady subplot.
Don't need it.
Which, by the way, I don't trust her.
She's an enabler. She's an enabler. She's living in the fanciest of houses. He's just sitting there like, oh, I'm just trying to use you to get my fucking niece or sister back.
You still have chances for more musical numbers. When you least expect it, you have our boy Bheem being whipped in front of an entire crowd, and then he like being whipped for 3 minutes, and then looks up, looks right in the camera, and starts singing the most beautiful song.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise could never.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was very Passion of the Christ.
It very much
was for me. It brought back a lot of religious trauma, and I was like, ugh. But he made me feel safe watching it.
Is it time for fun facts? I think
there's so many moments.
Fun. What could you possibly? This whole movie is a fun fact, you fucker. What could you possibly have?
So for the Natu dance sequence, that's when they're doing the old stompy stompy. The director made them do 17 takes and would check the scene frame by frame, making sure that their legs were perfectly synced up. He then chose the second take. So those boys crushed it out the gate.
Perfection.
It looked like the choreo was on point, and like that again. Yeah. I keep on bringing this up, but that leg shake shit that they were going from side to side, that was insane.
I think that's like the GIF on Twitter that's been most passed around.
The only person that really
and the suspenders. Ugh.
The suspenders part, yeah.
I need to send you. I saw a YouTube short of someone in a theater, and it was when that scene went up. Two dudes. First of all, the whole crowd's going nuts on their feet, and two guys got up and did it together, and everyone is screaming and cheering. And
you gotta send that to me. To me.
Yeah, drop that in the chat.
What if I told you that this movie is based on a true story. No.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking not.
It's based off of Indian mythology as well. It's like part of it. Yeah.
What?
So I'm going to butcher the names, but I'll just go by their last names. Raju and Bheem. Those real name Alluri Sitarama Raju and Komaran Bheem. Again, apologies for my pronunciation. They were real life Indian freedom fighters. Granted, they lived decades apart. They never actually met. So this movie is a fictionalized account of their lives, imagining their commonalities and what could have happened, what they could have achieved if they ever met. Now, the movie takes many liberties with their life stories.
Well, a lot of wild swings.
I'd have to imagine.
For instance, Raju never punched a tiger in the face, as far as we know.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
We don't know.
He could have.
No, but there's a gap in, I believe, both of their histories. And so the director kind of took it to imagine, like, what could have happened in the middle of their life if they were around at the same time. I don't believe that Raju was ever a police officer in real life, but he did raids to get guns and ammunition for his freedom fighters. I believe in real life, Bheem was more of a writer than a fighter. He used his words to fight the British Empire. But yeah, this is a revolutionary story. It's about bringing freedom to India and kind of taking two of the real life mythic heroes of Indian independence and putting them together for the first time.
I did also read that there is a bit of propaganda in the film.
Yeah, we obviously know very little about Indian politics. Patrick Willems, who I adore, if you've never watched his movie reviews, go check him out. He had a good video about this. He talked about it briefly. There is right-wing nationalism in India, and some say that there are some things in this film that reflect it. Others say, no, that's not true. It's just a dope movie. I'm not sure, but it's interesting. I want to take this movie as an opportunity to, one, learn more about Indian cinema, but also modern politics. And then this is not specific to this film, but I was shocked to learn that Bollywood, we in America, we think of all Indian cinema as Bollywood. I mentioned before, this is a Tollywood film. This movie was originally filmed and released in Telugu. Bollywood films only reflect 20% of India's film output, and there's a ton of different areas making movies. So again, there's a whole world of cinema to discover over there. And if you guys enjoyed this, if you got other recommendations, we would love to do more from India, because this was wild. Kelsey, I believe you had a fun fact.
Okay, my fun fact, I do. Guess the budget. I want to guess a number.
$70 million.
Oh, you already looked it up on Twitter, you fucks. All right, can you believe that? That's insane.
I don't think there's a single blockbuster that's come out in the last couple years that's been sub 125. Most of them are pushing 200, 300. So, wow. I mean, you could kind of tell that CGI tiger was a little silly looking, but otherwise,
barely. I was like, this passes. Yeah, I'll take that.
Now is the time we need to decide. Just kidding. This movie's pleasure as fuck. This shit's dope as hell.
Don't even insult us by asking.
This is madness? No, this is cinema. This shit is the power of friendship. It is one of the most breathtaking action films you will ever see, and one of the most breathtaking dance films you will ever see. Yeah. It is an epic. It will change your life. Thank me later. Watch RRR. Yeah. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to roar. I'm ready to revolt all over the place, baby.
Yes. +1. Ditto.
Hey.
You want to say more? Or that's it.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it.
That's all I got, man.
We're fucking tapped. Our tank is.
I'm so exhausted.
I need to go watch this again.
I am tired.
Yeah, I feel physical pain. I don't know about you guys, but my pain flare during this experience has been on 10 because I've been so emotional.
The day after you take drugs, how you're just like, there's really nothing left except for to talk about how dope the drugs were last night.
Yeah. This is I feel like how I felt after the first time I took mushrooms, where I was just I stayed up for 11 hours through the night, and then the next day I was just so spent. But the only thing I could think about was what just happened and all the things
by the
I
way,
just saw.
Worth every second
would do it again in a heartbeat. Would take the chance.
And when I go to sleep tonight, in the back of my eyelids, I'm gonna see Raju and his body yaddy yaddy. Fucking mustache man. I want a mustache ride. Well, I'm at Corny and all the things.
I'm Kelsey Darragh at all the things.
I'm Garrick Bernard at all the things.
And until next time, friendship.